So welcome guys to the final video for the web beginners bundle. I actually congratulate you guys on making it this far. So we have talked about a lot of things and web development, HTML, CSS. Told you guys that HTML is used for structuring the websites. It consists of two main things. Those are tags and attributes. Tags the things, the elements that helps us structure our documents, while attributes are the things that tell us more about our HTML documents. And I told you CSS is used for designing a website. Yeah, so we're going to actually build a website today and host it on Netlify. So Netlify is a hosting platform. Our last class I finally told you guys about hosting platforms. So today we are going to build a calculator website and we are going to use JavaScript. Although JavaScript is another course here, JavaScript Essentials, I'm just going to build a sleek calculator that can add, subtract, divide, and multiply two numbers. So if addition is going to add the two numbers together. If it's subtraction, it's going to subtract the second number from the first. If it's division, it's going to divide the first number by the second number. And if it's multiplication, it's going to multiply two of them together. So this is practically how the end of the website is going to look. Let's try it. Let's say 3 and so if you press addition you see 5. Now JavaScript is re-rendering the page here. If you press subtraction we'll get 1. If you press division we get 1.5, and if you press multiplication we should get 6. Exactly. So we are going to build a calculator and host it. So this will be you guys project. You can push it to GitHub and it will be your first project. So let's get on with building. I've already built mine here, so let's get on with that. So I already have a project here. Let's create a new project. Yeah, all right. So if I can just, let's say, close these tabs here. All right. So I think we can start a new project here. Okay. A new folder. Yeah. Let's call that folder our, let's call it our, sorry about that, our class. Yeah, our class. Or let's put it together, our class here, and save that. So okay, it's still in this folder. Let's just exit this and start a new project. So since you guys already know we're building our class, and press save. All right, so we have a new project opened up. Of course, you know what we need. Let's just write final. Since it's our final project, final.html. Let's save that. Create, of course, a new file, final.css. Save that, and finally we have final.js. Final.js. Yeah, so let's save this. So let's quickly write the normal syntax on HTML document. Remember, let's just go in with our doc type here. Doc type HTML. So we are going to be hosting this on Netlify, and you guys will see the site live. You'll be given a URL that you can go to check out the site. So you can just use this and as your first project, your first ever built project. So show recruiters, and you can tell everybody that wow, I finally built my first project and it's no more on my machine. I finally hosted it online. So let's just call it final or Mac calculator. Yeah, Mac calculator. Calculate. So yeah, so yes, since we have this now, we can go down and write a body tag, of course. Yeah, then so we need to also add our script tag. Remember I told you guys you can have the script tag below your body tag, or you can also have it nested in the head tag. But if you want to have it nested in the head tag, you have to use the differ attributes. Yeah, I told you differ, but you need to use the differ attribute. But here we're not going to be using that. We're just going to be using the src attribute. And we need to call it here final.js, since that's the name of our JS file, JavaScript file. And in our head tag, we also need to attach our CSS file, yeah, using the link. Remember, the rel attributes is needed. It tells us the relationship between the documents we are linking and the HTML documents. And since it's CSS is a style sheet, yeah, so we go forward, and course, we need to specify the type of documents we are linking, and is a CSS document. So you can just write text-based CSS. Now, why do we write text-based CSS? Because it's obviously a text file. So is a text. We are going to write text, but the extension is CSS. So you just literally have the prefix as the kind of file. If it was an image file, let's say you just write my image based PNG, or depending on the extension. So href is finally to link the document. So final.css. Yeah, so and just close this here, and I think we are all set. Yeah, so we have everything set. Finally, we can save this, and yeah, so if we should go to our CSS documents, uh, let's just take a look at the JS. Yeah, okay, so we have everything set. So we're going to build in a calculator. So let's get on with that. So first, let's write the tags. Let's see h. We can use h1 for that, or should we use h2? Yeah, let's just try h1 and write mark calculator. Mark calculator. Yeah, so we have more calculator. We can go down and just write, let's say, number one. Let me use the span tag. We talked about so many tags, but I'm not sure if I quite told you guys about the span. So the span tag is just a tag by the name, span. So you can take anything generally, but specifically text. So let's write number one, and at the end attach an input tag, and write type number. Let's write type being number. We can also attach a placeholder attribute to it. Placeholder, sorry, I didn't spell that right. Placeholder equals to enter your first number. Enter your first number. Yeah, so if I write this down now, I think I can just copy that and paste it for the second number, because the calculator is going to be performing operations on two numbers here, number one and number two. So I believe we can paste that here. So let's just take it up a little bit. Yeah, so okay, I think we have that already. Wait, let's close the tag. We need to close that up. Sorry. All right, let's close it. All right, so we have closed it, and I think it's ready. Yeah, input type number. Yeah, so we have the span, and of course, when we have the number, we need to display the result. So you can just use something like, let's say, a h1 tag for results. Yeah, results. Then we can come down and write the results. Let's say we can just use, let's say, perhaps a paragraph tag to write the results. Yeah, so is in this place we render the results using JavaScript at the end. So let's just give it a class name of results. I'm not sure, yeah, if you guys are feeling me. So okay, I think I ran and we are already having the structure forming up. So uh you guys think maybe the mark calculator signal is too big, or you can leave it? Yeah, I believe it's all right. So now that we have results, we should also have buttons. Yeah, let's just write one saying, think we can also have h2 saying actions. Yeah, the kind of actions we want to perform. So we need different actions. So different about we need four button tags, to trigger an event. Remember, I told you an event is everything that happens, on the site. Even in games, an event is an occurrence that happens. So a button being clicked is an event. So we need four events separately for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So and just write it down there. So I think we can specify the type to just be a button, and I want to give it a class of what? I want to give it a class of add. Yeah, that's the first button. And what do I want to call it? I want to call it add. Yeah. And for the second button, similarly, if you're using an ID like VS Code, there's a faster way you can do this. But I'm using Treb Edit, that's mobile ID. I told you I love using, told you guys love using mobile IDs. Although a lot of people say VS Code, but you get to be faster if you actually master the use of mobile IDs. You would learn speed, yeah, because speed is also crucial as a developer. It's not just about knowing what you're writing. So let me just sort this up. Right then, for the next one, okay, let me leave space so that you will see what I'm writing. For the next one, let me write type, sorry, type, cause type button. Then the class will be class for this one should be divide. Yeah, if I want it to divide, and let me just write divide here, and finally going down, yeah, type button. There is also type submit, but that's if you want to submit a form dealing with backend validation and things like that. So, but I guess button should do the trick for us here. So, class, and that will be, yeah, the last one, that will be multiply. Sorry, I didn't spell that right. Multiply. Yeah, so you can just write multiply here. So I think we are good to go with our buttons. If we save this and run, yeah, so if you see they are all staying beside themselves, remember we talked about the kind of display we have. We have display block, display inline. I told you guys that display block is the kind of display that takes every other thing to the next line. But inline allows two things to stay beside themselves. So can you see the nature of the button tag is allowing subtract, divide, multiply to stay beside it. If it was a block element, it would just take them to the next line by default. So yeah, so I think we could just use the break tag here, even for our yeah inputs, our numbers. We could use break tag to just take. I believe if you should use the break tag, you see what happens. The next one goes to the next line exactly. So we can use the same mechanism on our buttons, so that all the buttons will actually go below themselves instead of beside themselves, because we want it to be neat. We don't want the buttons to beside themselves. You can actually build different kind of things. Perhaps maybe a results calculator, a school fees calculator, or anything based on your idea. So I think, yeah, already building the logic. So now that we have that, we can think here we can actually go to our CSS before we perform any JavaScript on it. So um we would want to take everything to the middle, so we can just wrap it all in a section tag, then actually manipulate that section tag to go to the middle. Yeah, so let me write the section closing. Remember, there are two types of tags: opening, um non-self-closing, and self-closing tags. Told you, self-closing tags are the kind of tags that don't require a closing tag. They close automatically. But non-self-closing tags are the kind of tags which require a closing tag. So the section tag, for example, is a non-self-closing tag. So I think we should write CSS on that. Let's just grab the section, and sorry, section, and just write text align center. I should go to the middle for us. Text align center. Yeah, if we should see the, yeah, I think we should run the, yeah, so everything is now in the middle. And I believe if you look at our input tags, I want both inputs to be under the numbers, and also for the number, we wrote number one twice. Yeah, this is actually meant to be number two. Yeah, number two. So I believe you can just attach another break tag here and here. Yeah, so just make them all go to the next line. Yeah, so yeah, so number one and number two. So if you can see it now, both are under the first two. So if we go up, if we go back up, and um Yeah, so CSS, yeah. So what can we do? Let's start to beautify our HTML. So what do we want? We want, of course, we want the buttons that are too close together. We want to beautify them and make them go down. So let's go to the CSS. Our button, we just use, okay, let me just grab the button tag for all of them. And of course, we want them to be some space below themselves. So let's just put margin bottom. Let me write like 20 pixels. Yeah, 20 pixels. And we also want the colors to be light blue. Yeah, let me just write background. Background, yeah, background light blue. And we want the color. What do we want the color to be? Let's make just make the color black. And we also need space. So let's write some padding. Let's say 10 pixels, and let's say 40 pixels. What do you guys think? Let's check it out. So um yeah, so they're actually looking pretty great, but I think we can still expand them. Yeah, we can still expand them. So we go back to our CSS document here. Let's just give them some 50, and let's just make this perhaps 15. Yeah, so and also we need to attach border radius because they look too squarish and stuff. Border radius, let's just attach some like 8 pixels there. And yeah, so um yeah, all right, so the buttons are looking great, and we also need to we need to space out the input fields. Yeah, so let's also make the input fields bigger and a little bit more attractive. So inputs. Yeah, I'm just grabbing the two input tags. I believe you can just copy paste this instead of rewriting it. Paste. Yeah. So margin bottom 20 pixels, background light blue. Okay, we don't actually need background for this one. I don't want any background. Well, you guys can attach background. Yeah. Color can be black, padding. Yeah, border radius. Yeah. So and also, if we should write this and run, yeah. So I think the numbers are quite big. Yeah, well, it's cool. I don't know. You guys, yeah, it's looking cool. So now we can continue. Yeah, and I don't want any outline. If you see all this yellow thing shows that I'm on both. I don't like it generally. So I believe you can set outline to none since I don't want any outline. So we can just try outline. Sorry, outline, and set that to none. Yeah, so this should do the trick. If we run it and we actually tab, you see those annoying outlines are gone. So yeah, our calculator is almost done. So if you guys could stick to this, if you like color white, or you prefer a rather shady texture, let's see if we can change something like that. Okay, let me try and say a background color. Well, it depends on the kind of background color. We can move this. Remember, we also have the body tag. So body. Now there's something called the background color. Background color is a particular property that enables you to set a color. Let's see if I say purple, for example. Of course, I don't know how purple will look. We could check it out. And you can see how purple looks. It actually looks a little bit cool. But then I don't want purple. And I can also actually attach a mixture of two colors using the background image. Background image actually allows you to attach an image to your website, but I can use something called the linear gradient. Linear gradient enables you to mix two colors together. Yeah, sorry, linear gradient. Did I spell that right? Yeah. So linear gradients can go in different directions: upwards to up, downwards to down, towards the left to left, or towards the right. So in my scenario, I want to right. Yeah, so because I want to write, I just need to write and specify two colors. Practically I can just say dark blue if CSS actually has any color like that, and I can just say white depending. So if I run this, let's see what happens. Yeah, so you guys can see the shade. You can see that it's a mixture of white and dark blue. Exactly, that's the mixture. That's the that's the power of background image. Linear gradients helps you to swash two things together. So I think I may want a darker color, not actually this. What do you think I can mix? Okay, let's say black, because I want to make the fonts white. If you say black, what do we get? Yeah, it actually looks cool. Yeah, black looks cool. So now I'm going to make the math calculator the number one result and actions color white, so that you actually see the beauty coming out. So H1 span, H1 span and H2 are all going to take color white. So let's try that. You see, you can actually write H1 comma span comma H2 and just set them to color white at the same time. It's a particular CSS trick. Yeah, color white. Once you set them to color white, so when we save that, yeah, so you can now see how the design is coming out here. So I have my two boxes, and under is where the result is meant to be displayed. So um okay, let's say I can just write like, all right, so that's good actually. So now since we have, I think we have our UI is looking slick before we host it or anything, we can go back to our JavaScript and now perform some manipulations. So first, let's check out our UI. What do we want? We want sorry, just give me a minute. Yeah, what do we want? We want anytime we write two numbers here, each of these buttons should actually manipulate it. So the first thing we need to get those buttons. Remember, we use the DOM to manipulate HTML using JavaScript. So let me just say let's add equals to. Of course, if you can remember in our class, one of our classes when we talked about document object manipulation, we said we have different kind of ways we can grab HTML to manipulate them in JavaScript. We have document or get element by ID. We have document or get element by class name. We have document or query selector and query selector all. I also told you guys what they do, so you can go back to watch the video. So I'm just going to perform the, should I say, trick here. So the button, we have class add, minus, divide and multiply. So this will be documents the query select. So yeah, document the query selector, and I think it's the add. That was what we named it. So we have gotten the addition. I think we should comment. We could just say, remember double forward slash to comment in JavaScript, grabbing the add button. So it's always a great practice to comment when writing your code, so that other developers are working with anything with you will be able to read it. Grabbing the, let's say, subtract button. Yeah, let's just write let's minus equals to document the query selector. Then I think we can write dot minus. Yeah, if that was what we named it, then yeah, let me just copy this so that I won't waste much time. So we'll do the same thing for division and multiplication. So if you come down, I think we could just write division here, division button and divide, and of course we need to change this to something divide, and finally let's grab the multiplication button, grabbing the multiplication button. Let's just call it multiply. equals to, yeah, multiply. All right, so I think we've grabbed all the buttons we need. Now we can start performing logic. So let's just write performing addition logic. So let's start. So now we need to add an event listener to that addition button that we just grabbed. That anytime the button is clicked, we want it to add the two numbers that was given. So listen now. Yeah, did I get the spelling of that right? Yeah, I got it right. So remember, the events we are looking for is a click when the button is clicked. So comma, we need a function to perform a particular action. So function, of course, two parentheses, that's closing opening, then the action. So write this, and what do we want? When the button is clicked, we want to actually grab the two numbers in the two input fields. So let me just say, let's number one equals to what? Documents the query selector. um what was the class we used for number one again? Inputs. Okay, we didn't give it a class. I believe we should give it a class. So let's give the inputs field number one a class. Let's call it num1. Let's just call it num1. And for the second number, the input field, let's also give that a class. Let us call this second one num2. So class equals to num2. Num2, yeah. So we can believe now we can go back to our JavaScript and just write dot num1 here, dot num1, and we can just attach our, yeah, semicolon here and go down, and also do for num2, let's number2 equals to copy this, copy, and just paste it here real quick. Yeah, so let me change this to num2. Yeah, so now that we have those two, all we need to do now is now to perform the addition. So let me just say const results. Let me use the const keyword. Const results is equals to number one plus number2. And finally, you see that I'm now adding the results for the addition. I want it to be added. Then finally, I want to display the results back to, where do I want to display the results? Remember this place that I said results, class, this place where my cursor is. So I want to actually display the results here. So I need to grab this paragraph tag that says results. So how do I grab it? I just need to go back here and also grab it and say, let me just say, let results equals to what do I need to name the results? Let results equals to documents the query selector, yeah, dot, I think we called it results, yeah, SULT, yeah. So we can save that, and let's not forget our colon. So results. Now that we have it, we can just say of course, results dot text content. That is, we're trying to change the content of the result from being empty, you see that there's nothing here, to having the results we calculated. So let's just write equals to this result. Yeah, so now that we have it, I believe everything is set correctly. So you guys know what we did. But finally, because of, remember that we are accepting the user's input via an input tag. Now, by default, even if you write type number, an input tag is going to accept the input as a string. So we need to convert it to a number. How do we do that? We use the number function in JavaScript to convert it to a number. So we actually write number here and wrap this in. Yeah, so Also, for here, we need to add the value because you are actually grabbing the value of number one. Yeah, also for number two, let's quickly wrap it in number. So I'm wrapping it in the number, and remember dot value because you are grabbing the value of the, I just saw that now, you are grabbing the value of the input field, not just the input field itself, not just the tag, is the value you are grabbing. So let's add our semicolon. So I think it should, everything should be working all right for the addition. So if we should write okay, I think there's some sort of error showing here. Okay, all right. So it's telling us result has already been declared. Actually, we need to, let's say, um change this to another variable. Let's call this like final value. And if you notice, final here showed blue is because it's a reserved keyword. Remember, never use reserved keywords as variables. So results the text content, we can now change this to final value. Yeah, final value. So I think that should work. So the addition button should be working all right. Let's just write 3 and 6, and if you press add, you can see the result is 9. Yeah, 9. So we actually need to change the color of results too. So let's quickly go to our CSS. So you actually see that it's actually showing dot results. The results, if let's write color as white. Yeah, so if we save this now and go back to our HTML file, and now write this again, 3 and 6, and press add, you can see the result showing here as 9. Exactly. So our addition mechanism is working. Now for the remaining, we can just automatically just copy the logic for the addition and just manipulate it for the other. So just copy and come down and just write like for subtraction, like real quick, and change it. So I think I can just write subtraction here. Performing a subtraction. Right, so instead of add here, I'll write minus add event lista, let number one this. So the results for this, we need to change it to minus. And yeah, also similarly for the next one, we need to paste it here and write division, division. Yeah, so here we have to write divide. After divide, of course, here we actually write our divide like this. In programming, remember, is just a forward slash that used to signify divide. And for the last one, multiplication, we can just write multiply that we grabbed here, and instead of addition logic, we change it to multiply logic. So yeah, and here we need to have asterisks. Yeah, so if we save this and we go back, I think the entire logic should be ready. So let's just write two numbers. Let's say 10 and 2. So if we add, we have 12. If we subtract, we have 8. If we divide, we have 5. And if we multiply, we have 20. So congratulate you guys on the last class. We've successfully learned HTML, CSS, and I just gave you guys a teaser of JavaScript, although it's for another course, JavaScript Essentials, but I wanted to build a website, a calculator website actually, that you can actually add to your portfolio and your resume. I think we have it live. So finally, we just need to host it on Netlify. So to host, I believe this is already saved. Is a folder. So I'm going to be using my mobile phone. So I have a folder called our class. So if you guys can see it here, everything is set. Finally, guys, let's talk about hosting. So this is the site. I viewed it on my local media. So now I'm just going to go to Netlify. Okay, All right, so I already have Netlify opened up here. Let the page just refresh. Yeah, so I already have it opened up. I think I've signed into my account already. So when it opens up, I'll just host the project on Netlify. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to host it. I actually combined, all the pages into a single page because, it may be a little bit tedious on mobile for beginner. So immediately you sign in, you can see that I've already hosted some projects. Netlify is a front end cloud service that enables you to host websites. You can see this is the SOG code owned by SOG Solutions, SOG Facts. That is actually our news platform. I worked on the site too, and so many other things, just testing different things out. So if you come down, you see, want to deploy, you can see I'm doing all this from my mobile phone. Want to deploy a new project, drag and drop your folder here. You can drag and drop to your project folder zip file or a single HTML file to deploy instantly. So in my case, I'm going to be dropping a single HTML file. So I've tapped the browse to upload, so it's going to take me to my phone's files, and I think, yeah, we're already there. So I have a file I want to upload. I think it's in documents. Yeah, document. So yeah, this is the file. So I've tapped the file, and as you can see, uploading. Rename to index.html. Okay, you say I should rename the file to index.html. Your site's homepage will show a page not found. Error. Rename file.storia to html. Now, you see why this is happening is because index, by default, index is the actual HTML file that every hosting platform tracks to be the first HTML file. So I press rename and deploy. It's going to actually rename it and deploy it. So you can see uploading, please don't refresh. So it's actually uploading my site. So let's just give it like some few minutes to seconds. So all right. So glittery bonbon blah blah blah. So I think he's actually done. Last deployed from Netlify, real users, blah blah blah. So production deploys, production published. You can see that it's already published and no deploy messages. So let me just tap this quick setup to see what they mean. So yeah, project name, update the project name. I can actually change it. Let me just write smart calculator. So you can see that is with when we talked about domains, I showed you custom domains. Yeah, so https.netlify.app is a custom domain. So I'll just write math calculator, math alphin calculator. Yeah, so I think okay, project name is not valid. Let me just write math calculator together. I don't know, perhaps. Okay, still not valid, meaning someone else has taken the name maths calculates. Let me just look for a great name. Okay, let me write one. All right, so maths calculates one. It's all. Let's try maths calculator one to see if it's okay. It's still taking. So I guess maths calculates one will be so update project name. Yeah. So when I update this, yeah, I think that's the URL it will now be using for me. So add the domain you own, buy a new domain. So I didn't currently purchase any domain for this, so I'll just tap finish later. So I now copy this. You can open it in new tab, so it should be opened in a new tab. So I can just go to that new tab. So all right, let me quickly go back to Nestify and just copy this. Uh, copy link address. So let's paste this here. So congratulations, guys! Our site is now live. So yeah, though because we didn't add CSS query, so it may look a little bit slicey. So congratulations, you guys have successfully completed the web beginners bundle training. So you can see we attach 3 to our number 1 and 2 to our number 2. Result of addition will give you 5. The result of subtraction will give you 1. Division will give you zero point 0.5. That's 1.5. And multiplication will give you 6. So um um it was a great time we spent together. We talked about HTML, CSS, in the Web Beginners Bundle, and we did projects. This is our final project, so I will leave it to you guys here, to build different kind of projects that suits you. Keep on learning, because web development is actually it's a very evolving, very speedily evolving field in tech. Yeah, so bye.